Imagine you're flying in an aeroplane so high you can see the curvature of the Earth. Suddenly, the plane begins malfunctioning and you have to jump out. Your only hope of survival is a parachute that refuses to open at the last second. Even having a dream like this would ruin my mood for the rest of the day. While you think that no parachute would instantly seal your fate, there's one woman who actually survived. In today's video, we are going to discuss Julianne's survival after falling from 10,000 feet. Who was she? What exactly happened? We're discussing all of this and more. Flights may save time, but sometimes can be deadly. Airplanes are the fastest modes of transport we have. They take us from one city to the other in a fraction of the time it would take by car or train. Planes have become so common, some of us even take 1-hour flights because they're so convenient. But just imagine this short trip turning into a nightmare. That's exactly what happened with 17-year-old Julianne Kopka when she fell that day. But first, what's her story? Julianne was born to German parents Hans Wilhelm Kopka and Maria Kopka in 1954. She was their only child. Her father was a renowned zoologist and ornithologist, with her mother working as an ornithologist herself. They had moved to Peru to study wildlife, while also lobbying the government to do more to protect the jungle from hunting and clearing. When Julianne turned 4 years old, her parents moved from Lima to establish Panguana in the Amazon rainforest. Panguana was a station designed for field research, but has since also become a private conservation area. Julianne spent her early days in the jungle. Eventually, local authorities asked her to be sent back to the city for proper schooling. While she was forced to leave the jungle, she left with a number of survival skills that would help her in later life. So what happened on that dreadful day Julianne fell from the sky? The day after graduating school, Julianne and her mother Maria decided to fly to her father's station. After waiting 7 hours, they finally boarded the propeller-powered LANSA Flight 508. None of the 92 passengers were prepared for the horrors that were about to take place on this routine flight. The flight's path went over the most secluded part of the country's rainforest. It was an unforgiving environment, home to some of the world's most dangerous animals. Julianne's father had asked the pair not to book that specific airline since it had a poor reputation. To make matters worse, the plane was hit by lightning during a thunderstorm. This caused the plane to lose control and crash into the trees, with Julianne recalling her mother at the time saying, "Now it's all over," but the terror had only just begun. From her window seat, Julianne saw a white flash of light. This was the lightning hitting the fuel tank. The explosion took the wing clean off, causing the plane to nosedive into the forest. It was nothing short of a miracle that Julianne survived. One of the main reasons was that she remained strapped to her seat. While the plane was crashing, her seat also broke free from the plane. Free-falling, Julianne lost consciousness as the air was being gagged out of her lungs. When she finally regained consciousness, she found herself in the middle of the forest. Along with severe concussion, the fall through the trees had broken her collarbone. She also had scrapes and gashes on her arms and legs. Because of the sudden decompression she experienced on the plane, her eyes were swollen and her capillaries had burst. Julianne also lost her glasses. Since she was nearsighted, this was a problem. Her concussion made it difficult for her to move, but she eventually managed to get out from under her seat. Meanwhile, a massive rescue operation was underway to try and locate her and the rest of the passengers. The plane was scattered around 6 miles of the Amazon rainforest. The dense forest made it difficult for rescuers to get anything done. Julianne went looking for her mother, but all she could find was a packet of boiled sweets. This was her only source of food. Julianne then went to search for the rescuers, coming across a small well. Remembering her father's advice, she followed the river downstream in order to get back to civilization. By day 4, Julianne had run out of sweets and was battling maggots on her wounds. She struggled for about 10 days in the dense forest before coming across any sign of human life. The teenager found a boat with a motor attached to it. She also found some diesel fuel near the boat, which she used on her arm to try and get rid of some of the maggots. Moving further, Julianne found a logging campsite with a hut where she finally got some rest. In the morning, she was found by 3 Peruvian men who first thought she was a water spirit. Julianne convinced them she was very much human and needed help with her wounds. The men gave her food and helped with her injuries. They then put her in their boat and took her to the nearest village, which was 7 hours away. From there, a local pilot flew her to a hospital run by a missionary in Pucallpa. The very next day, after going through hell on earth, Julie was reunited with her father. What happened after the terrifying incident? Julianne survived, but she had to undergo a long healing process. Her story quickly spread across the world, with members of the press chasing her around every corner. Her first public interview was in Stern, a German magazine that paid for the rights. As you can imagine, this placed a lot of pressure on the young teen. Reporters went to extreme lengths to speak with her, with some even posing as nurses. Meanwhile, Julianne was trying to process the loss of her mother, who died in the horrific crash. Julianne's story was later brought to the big screen in the 1974 Italian film Miracles Still Happen. It was made with the approval of her family, but the public eye drained Julianne. She worked very hard to stay out of the press. To this day, Julianne has nightmares of her experience. She moved back to Germany to receive her doctorate. Since she was never able to properly mourn his wife, Julianne's father also suffered, becoming a recluse in his later years. Julianne became a mammologist and returned to Peru to study bats. She published her thesis in 1987. Julianne also wrote a book titled When I Fell from the Sky. It was a first-person account of her nightmare, where she was finally able to talk about her experiences. The book was awarded the Korean Literature Prize in 2011. In 1989, she married an entomologist named Eric Diller, whose specialty was parasitic wasps. Julianne also took over as director of Panguana after her father passed away at the age of 87. In 2019, the government of Peru awarded her Order of Merit for Distinguished Services as a Grand Officer. In 1998, another movie was made about her experiences called Wings of Hope. The documentary's director, Werner Herzog, would have been on the same flight as Julianne. At the time, he was scouting for locations for the movie Aguirre, The Wrath of God, but a last-minute change took him off the flight. Julianne went with Herzog to film at the crash site. She later said that the visit served as a form of therapy for her. Whether you're afraid of heights or not, Julianne's story will most definitely give you the chills. There are so many wild mysteries to learn about. Let's keep your curiosity going with a couple more videos, shall we? Here's what you need to know. Check out What Happens When You Die According to People Who've Actually Died. Or how about the creepiest images found on Google Earth? Go ahead, click one. Or better yet, watch both and learn more about our crazy world. Are you afraid of heights? Let us know in the comments below.